Huge play by Benintendi.
Yeah. Great jump on that ball, though. He took a chance there.
Absolutely.
On to the highly anticipated debut of LeBron James in short shorts tonight. And he'll make his first start as the Laker. And yes, those shorts are hemmed a little short. They're telling me that is the style. Lakers taking on the Blazers in Portland. New teammates, new expectations for LeBron as he seeks to go to the finals for the 9th straight season. Nick Wright, how should success for LeBron and the Lakers be defined this season?
All right, let me give some very specific things that you'll be able to check back in at the end of the year, and then we can talk about maybe more almost ideas for them. But specifically, you got to get at least 50 wins, be one of the top 4 seeds in the West, which is going to be tough because if Golden State and Houston are 1-2, Utah, the Lakers, and Oklahoma City are going to be, one of them is not going to be a top 4 seed. But to be one of those top 4 seeds and to advance as far in the playoffs as you can until you play Golden State. So that means that's why you're extra incentive to be the 3 seed, avoid Golden State potentially until the conference finals. But those are 3 realistic, achievable, tangible goals. 50 wins, top 4 seed in the West, and not lose to anyone in the playoffs other than Golden State. Those are all benchmarks that you can grab onto that, to me, would define a successful season for the Lakers.
Yeah, I think 50 wins is a good number as far as where they were last year. If you look at the plus-minus, what LeBron typically has done when he's joined other teams, when he went from the Cavs the first time to Miami, when he left Miami and joined the Cavs, I'm excited to see what he can do. I think it's very, very important. You watch games and you start season, people say, what's important? We'll get off to a fast start. It's not a bailout as far as saying that, oh, that's what everyone's going to say. But when you're playing with a bunch of young players, it's important that they have success. And I've seen LeBron in this exchange of going from one team to another, the teams struggle more likely than they get off to a fast start. That's what they did in Miami. That's what they did in Cleveland. So I hope that these young players, that they look at it a little bit different, and with the schedule and being out west, that's going to be hard to do. So I would like to see them get off to a fast start. Last year, we saw Boston. Boston did lose the first couple games. But then after that, man, with those young players, man, they ran off a bunch of games. And I think that helped develop the confidence of those young players.
You guys call it struggling, getting off to, you know, trying to overcome what LeBron did in Miami and Cleveland. But isn't there something to these guys trying to figure out how to play in a competitive setting, figure out timing and pacing and how to all play together? Isn't that a sort of normal? Because they ended up winning in Miami and winning in Cleveland after those starts.
I think it is. I think this is a drastically different situation, however, than each of those previous 2. In Miami, it was about 3 great players who had always been the best guy on every team they'd been on, learning to play together. Yes. And the first month of the season, it was LeBron would take a turn, D-Wade would take a turn. Really, that whole first year, that's almost what they did. In Cleveland, it was a team that had never won anything, that had no momentum going in its favor, had just gotten the #1 pick of the draft, them learning to win it all. With the Lakers, it's a team that, absent of LeBron, had been on +9 wins, a positive trajectory, and a team that doesn't have a ball-dominant, I don't want to say selfish in a negative way about Kyrie, but a guy who's used to having everything run through him the way Kyrie was. I actually think it'll be an easier transition for LeBron with the Lakers than it was in Miami or in Cleveland, even if right now their ceiling is not as high as what it was for those 2 teams.
So Luke Walton, the head coach, has said he does want to limit LeBron's minutes a little bit, that this is a long journey, not a one-year journey. What do you guys think about that?
It's an organizational thought. It's like the whole organization is thinking about this. Because when you get LeBron at this stage, it's not like any other stage. So you can't use his beginning stint in Cleveland, his stint in Miami, or him going back to Cleveland. No, because in all those, man, he was one of the leaders in minutes. No, LeBron's at a different stage. He's also with the youngest team. And you should be able to rely and put some of those minutes on the back of these younger players. You can't expect LeBron to be able to push the types of minutes and play the type. He played 82 games last year. Why would he play 82 games? Would it be in the best interest of the Lakers? Because the truth of the matter is, they're going to need LeBron healthy in year 3 and 4 because their chance of winning a championship probably will be greater than they will be in year 1 and 2.
I think it's smart to try to limit his minutes. I think that's going to be Luke Walton's toughest job, is telling LeBron to come out of the game if he doesn't want to. I don't know how important it is. It's been important for every player in NBA history. But in year 14, LeBron led the NBA in minutes per game and then played in more playoff games than anybody and went 33-9-8 in the playoffs in 41 minutes per game. Last year, he led the league in minutes and played more games than anybody, and then played more playoff games than anybody, played 42 minutes a game in those playoffs, and went 34-9-9. So in year 16, can he do something similar? Probably. Will that negatively affect year 18 and 19, which is C's point? That's the math Luke Walton has to do, and that gets to when I said there's intangible things to discuss as well. That's one of the most important things to figure out by the end of this year. Is Luke Walton a high-level NBA coach? I'm not saying he is or he isn't, but I don't think we have any way to know yet. You can throw out what happened in Golden State when he was an interim coach there. That team was almost on autopilot.
Yeah, I don't believe you can throw it out because every decision I ever made.
Oh, sure.
And just his whole basketball experience, that means growing up in a basketball family, his college experience, being a champion, all those things. So for me, I'm not going to exclude everything. I'm still at the same conclusion as you. I don't know if he is the right coach. No, yes, but I'm not going to take away parts that I believe can be important. Because what you learn, I mean, we tried to do that with Steve Kerr. Everyone needs a coach. Secretariat needs a jockey, a harness, a bridle. Everyone needs a coach. So that coach becomes very important. Who he is as a coach, now that we will see.
All I meant, and I'm glad you clarified there, is not that you throw it out meaning he didn't learn anything, meaning that wasn't an important experience for him. I just mean when you look at his overall coaching win-loss record, it is greatly inflated.
Yes.
By those 40 games he coached when Steve Kerr was injured.
Yeah, I'm not going to give him credit for the wins.
Right, that's what I meant.
But the intel and being around great players, being in pressurized situations. You know, LeBron, he has coached players like LeBron.
Right.
Why? Because he was there in Golden State. Yep. So that experience becomes critical.
When you talk about Luke Walton and the minutes, is there a correlation, and I don't know this, but is there a correlation between the minutes he plays and the pace with which they're going to play? We talked about how slow Cleveland played last year, but because this pace is going to be faster, maybe that affects it?
All minutes are not created equal. It is a great question and a great point. It's easier for LeBron to lead the league in minutes if his team is playing at a snail's pace, as it has in the last few years, or at least not a fast pace. It's much more difficult if you're running up and down the court.
It is much more difficult that way. And as Nick said, that was a tremendous question. What if LeBron, as we talked about before, if they play Kuzma at the 5 and LeBron at the 4? So if he plays those extended minutes and he's playing against bigger people, that could take more of a wear and tear just like up and down the court. So all the minutes aren't the same, and we need to watch for which the style they're going to play and what position does LeBron play on the court.
One last note. The Lakers last year won 35 games. 54 times they had fourth-quarter leads. They lost more games that they led in the fourth quarter last year than any team in the league except for Dallas. They now have the best closer in basketball. That and that alone is going to jump their win total at least 10 because they won't be giving away games late the way they did last year.
All right, let's take a break. Get back to some football on the other side. Coming up, hey, why are John Elway and the Broncos fighting for their lives? That's next on First Things First.